Have you ever seen someone remain faithful to a guy who was unable of maintaining loyalty to a phone plan? Since Yandy Smith recently took the unimaginable action after almost a Mendeecees. Harris, after 10 years of playing ride-or-die Barbie, at last, sis said, "I'm out." Yes, the year's biggest narrative surprise was just revealed by the lady who created a whole brand on being the epitome of loyalty. Furthermore, we're not discussing some modest shade or a lovely little dispute. Oh, this breakup is a slow-cooked public humiliation accompanied with receipts, treachery, and ego. What then caused a partnership that endured incarceration, reality TV chaos, and a public persona based on black love objectives to abruptly fall apart like a cheap wig in a storm? Did Black Twitter have anything to do with the years of disrespect, the emotional distance, and the "I'm not sure if I'd wait for you" interview, tossing virtual tomatoes? Or was Yandy out here protecting his name like a full-time job, and this guy was simply exploiting her for clout? Hold on tight. For what did you believe you know about this alleged power couple? Yes, we are going to burn it. What began as black love aspirations turned out to be black love gaslighting. So let's go back in time and rewrite this love tale. And the receipts are hot, darling. Once upon a time, we were given a love tale that seemed to fit amid the glittering turmoil of the H1's love and hip-hop. Without the wigs, in a Tyler Perry finale, Mindy meets Harris, the streetwise ex-hustler who is converted into a family, and Yandy Smith, the intelligent, well-groomed business-savvy lady. Prison sentences, vows, tears, confessionals, cameras, and men. Yes, there were federal charges related to this fairy tale. Mendeecees was given an 8-year jail term for cocaine trafficking in 2015, shortly after a spectacular wedding that was shown on television. Furthermore, what did Yandy do? Did she exit the Rolls-Royce weep and disappear? Not at all. Sister intensified brand loyalty as if it were a brand promise. She became the face of ride-or-die culture, raising children and attending visits in full glitz. Alone, operating her enterprises like nothing could break her, participating in reality programs, and opposing jail conditions. Yandy was performing the emotional work, while Mendeecees was serving time. Of 10 ladies who have no toes, however, that's where the fissures appeared since Yandy was out there showcasing his PR prowess and protecting his image, like you know how it goes. Girl, he'd be calling other women from jail. Industry insiders began to murmur, referring to a kid with sticky fingers. This marriage may be for television, but Yandy never gave up. He was heard chatting slickly about her. Until the notorious 2021 interview, she maintained her style. Imagine this, Mindy looks straight out of someone asks him directly, if Yandy had gone to prison, would you, while he sits on a panel, wearing a suit and does the "I've grown" performance? I'm not sure what I would have done if I had waited for her. I'm sorry. After 5 years of this lady, you don't realize that moment split the internet in two. She safeguarded your identity more tenaciously than an NDA, and now she's holding you down like Gorilla Glue. TikTok sewed the footage into oblivion, and for many admirers, it made Twitter go all CSI. Was the day the fairy tale of black love perished because what type of guy shrugs when a woman sacrifices everything for him? This is where things get very hot, however, since this was more than just a casual slip, it was a glimpse into something much more repulsive, a pattern of selfishness, emotional distance, and outright disdain that seemed to have persisted for years. And once fans returned to previous shows, interviews, and Instagram postings, they began to recognize what had always been there. Mindy's lack of commitment. The guy was accused of flirting with other women while incarcerated, sulking behind the scenes, and allowing Yandy to shoulder all the emotional, financial, and public burdens. While he just had to sit and sometimes perform, she served as his wife, manager, image consultant, babysitter, and spiritual advisor all in one, because this tea is hot. A source close to the pair informed us on condition of anonymity that he cared Yandy was more infatuated with the idea of keeping it down than with the actual events. And Maine was aware that he was playing into it, since it maintained his name clean, and guess what? Because people wanted to believe in them, it worked for a long time. As usual, the reality doesn't give a damn, but we needed that plot line and wanted to see a strong black couple make it through the system. Your favorite ship? After Mindy is released from jail, what do we get? An image makeover and a path of development, speaking engagements, Instagram remarks about punishment and promotion. But what we didn't get was appreciation. This guy never once took the time to publicly thank Yandy for doing what he did, even though he didn't have to. Instead, he gave us the impression that she was working on us, complete with tepid platitudes, reality show confessionals, and detached side looks. And let's speak about marital boot camp because, My dear, if there was ever a time when the facade fell apart, it was because you were coasting. Such was like a cheap mirror. At one point in one of the episodes, Yandy spoke out coolly and elegantly, yet only a genuine person could have such pained voice. She acknowledged that she felt alone, neglected, and unprotected, and the relationship the same lady Hope protested on your behalf, provided for your children, wept in private while standing up for you in public. And now she was standing there questioning if you really loved her. Then came the therapist asked Mendy whether he had ever been unfaithful. It was like a velvet glove slapping him. Yeah, I've done some things I'm not proud of, he muttered, shifting and looking down. Boom, Mick falls. Every devoted black lady who watched that show felt a bit heartbroken because in just one, the strange body language, the aloof energy, the lack of appreciation, the unwillingness to claim Yandy the way she claimed him, all of it made sense in one line. He had never been Alan, he had been along with it. It wasn't perplexity, it was conviction. Yandy was driving the bus alone for the voyage, but it didn't end there, since as soon as that, the floodgates erupted after the show aired. With alleged screenshots of Mendy conversing with other women and anonymous blog sites beginning to release direct messages. Business associates believe he was closing business without Yandy, and others say he was seen in Atlanta with someone other than her. Granted, that part of this may be smoke, but in an atmosphere this dense, fire is often present behind it. What did Yandy do? The same thing. She remained quiet, elegant, and faithful, as she usually does. Her messages were more cryptic, with captions that resembled diary entries, and even that stillness began to seem like a scream. Fans noticed when she stopped tagging him and began to appear alone. Comments such as, Yandy, if you're done, blink twice. Sister, where is your crown? You restrained him for so long that he lost how to defend you. Perhaps the most tragic aspect of all of this is that Yandy never intended to reveal the truth about him. She still refuses to because, deep down, she had faith in him, the picture, and the possibilities, that everything would make sense if she would only wait a little longer. But what happens when the fairy tale becomes a hostage situation? This narrative truly starts to heat up when loyalty turns into a cage, and the guy you built your company on ends up becoming your worst liability. Because just when supporters believed they had seen the worst, when it seemed like Yandy would either forgive him once again or endure eternal suffering in silence, a revelation appeared that completely changed the story of hip-hop and love. And believe me, you'll wonder whether this is true after hearing what follows. The tea is only beginning to brew, so if you thought that was the finale, Babby, you had best sit patient. Marriage was genuine in the first place. Discuss what caused people to start eyebrow-raising and wig-flipping in the streets and on the internet, because after Yandy, Chile began making movements that seemed more like Get Back after that. Fans began doing their own research and sharing their findings. A few do a boom. Let's explore the craziness. Yandy didn't just decide one day that he was done with Mendeecees. No, she engaged in the game as behind the scenes. She had already ceased wearing her ring months before the accusations surfaced, and she was a strategist on House of Cards with a Lori Shaker of love and hip-hop drama. Check out the subtle shade on Instagram. Double-check the cryptic messages. But the fact that Mendeecees' name was missing from the documents when Yandy supposedly purchased a new property in Atlanta is what truly threw the internet into a frenzy during DEFCON 1. Please pardon me. According to an unnamed insider close to Yandy's team, she made the purchase in a whisper in church, offering time and not just any property. People began to speculate about this whole opulent corner lot with a corner store-sized walk-in closet. Was she accumulating assets to avoid becoming like those other reality TV spouses caught up in married but broke life? Or was this her gradual transition into limbo? Remember that Yandy has always been the brains behind the organization. She kept the empire running even while Mendeecees was imprisoned. From beauty products to charitable endeavors to her incessantly astute postings that somehow managed to make even meat seem marketable, Sis has been putting in a lot. Of effort, not surprisingly. Therefore, she had an escape plan as crisp as a beauty influencer's cut crease. But here's the thing. Mendeecees, one of his day ones, revealed that Yandy never formally informed him that she was finished. Thus, he was perhaps the last to find out. Nope, she just began transferring several missed calls and delayed responses, and she stopped spending facade time with the children when he was away. She slapped Mendy with the fabled "just need some space" when he attempted to approach her cold. You're going to discover the reality TV code for that space line, which is the kiss of death in any situationship. The vibe was so chilly that it could have frozen Mona Scott's weave glue. He revealed on the blogs what I didn't have the courage to tell you face to face, and yeah, he did. Fast forward to the reunion tape. Producers attempted to set up Yandy and Mendeecees' eyes for a pleasant couple image, but it didn't work out. Cast members were muttering behind the scenes. When Sis rejected, saying she wasn't feeling it, Mindy, looking perplexed, was seen asking someone off camera, "Hey, is she serious now?" Mendy reportedly overheard one of the backstage stylists remark, "She's acting like I'm her side dude." That overstayed his welcome. Her spouse is me. However, the producers were totally engrossed. The lighting team increased the saturation, cameras zoomed in, and social media got within minutes of the reunion showing. #Y and Yon following trended, and fans claimed they were right to prepare a shocking surprise, since a week later, Yandy performed a now-deleted sit-down interview with an empowerment podcast in which she said nothing short of a verbal Molotov bomb on the whole marriage. She didn't mention names, but when you say things like, "Sometimes you, after years of building alongside others, you discover that they were just there to provide the blueprint, not the finished product." Oh no! Twitter spiraled. Tokers broke out what she meant by blueprint in a 3-part series. 45-minute articles were written by YouTubers. Did Mendeecees just get mentally evicted? But let's not act like we're brand new. This isn't just about property and shade. Supposedly, money is allegedly involved as well. Let's discuss the money. According to insiders, Mendeecees began to feel quite at ease taking money out of joint corporate accounts as if they were his own piggy bank. Journey costs, high-end footwear, spa days, and even a purported investment in a Miami hookah restaurant that didn't work out. When Yandy's sister saw, she didn't make any public statements, but her notes app's accounting folder was dynamite. This is when it becomes even more crazy. A voice memo that was leaked indeed. Last week, a voice message purporting to be from Yandy's cousin appeared. Girl, he thought he was slick. Booking massages at M and pretended that they were meetings for work. No, Yandy took out the invoices. Even have the therapist on camera stating that he arrived by himself. Just a few of you, not with a supervisor, not in a relationship, by themselves. And no sports massage was given. It was among them. Essential oil that is mood lit. R&B massage joints with a slow jam. Therefore, when you combine that with the cash withdrawals, the erratic parenting, the appearances at late-night clubs, and the Instagram models, inexplicably enjoying all of his photos at 2:34 a.m., Yandy's decision to pack her emotional luggage and declare, "Peace out, playa." Despite this, fans remained divided. She ought to have held it down. According to some, she waited too long. According to some, however, the genuine ones gave her a standing ovation at the conclusion of a bonk. Journey Yandy didn't just go. Instead, she leveled up, stepped up, locked her bag, and most importantly did it without taking a single mug photo. According to Twitter, chuck a drink on national television or go on a tirade. We must stand. However, before we begin awarding awards, Mendeecees did not take this lying down. Therefore, let's speak about his next action. Mendeecees is working on his own tell-all digital series. According to those close to him, yes, there was a full YouTube rollout that included his version of events, behind-the-scenes videos, and even a diss tune titled "Red Flags and Receipts." He's rapping now, yes. Furthermore, it is reported that he is collaborating with Little Scrappy to executive produce it. If it doesn't shout midlife, baby, I'm not sure what causes a MacBook Pro crisis, but it resolves itself. According to rumors, Mona Scott is rushing to lock them both inside whatever you think of reality TV. Separate spin-off arrangements should be made before the entire thing becomes a media circus. Although it may be disorganized, it's also cash. And this split is going to draw in more viewers than the strip club arcs, Rashida, and Kirk's baby mama. Having said that, the fans are left with more questions than answers when Mendeecees spots a production team and Yandy stealthily files documents. Will the split be final? Or is this the first installment in a multi-season series? Because in the realm of hip-hop and love, no goodbye is always final. Before the next controversy, this is only a commercial break. However, just when you believed that when the rabbit hole got no further, it suddenly collapsed. Because fans weren't simply shocked by what happened next, it broke the basis of their alleged empire itself. Let's discuss the fallout and the current raging controversy around Mendeecees and Yandy Smith. Harris' social media became a virtual battleground with the release of the widely shared video of Yandy slamming that door and leaving Mendeecees more quickly than you could say Mendeecees ain't faithful. #Why Andy deserves better trended. Fans were calling for action rather than only reacting. Blogs took off, back-to-back response videos, and even rumors about Annie's on Facebook were posted by YouTubers. Life's views were more heated than grease from Fish, and although Yandy remained mute, sharing mysterious sayings and bustling booked photos on Instagram. Mendy noticed he concluded it was the ideal "it's time for a podcast journey." Yes, man believed he could turn this breakup into a story of redemption. "Maybe please," he said, sitting in studios with red lights and a poor mix, attempting to communicate his point of view about how difficult marriage is and how Yandy changed after being famous. The streets, however, weren't buying it. Actually, it simply made matters worse because 1 month before the breakup became public, Mendeecees was supposedly preparing a discreet separation strategy, according to hacked emails that blogger Sip with Sasha claimed to have obtained. Oh, how disorganized the receipts were. Emails that were purportedly sent from a burner account discussing asset protection, media diversions, and even working with an Atlanta public relations gal to assist slant the story. And few children, if you thought that was awful, the true bomb went off at that point. Anonymous persons who claimed to have been Mendeecees' business associates came out with asserts that their business in real estate included more than simply property flipping. It has to do with identity swapping. Secondly, allegedly, documents were purposefully connected to many properties and filed under dubious LLCs under Yandy's name. An unpaid tax trail. Unexpectedly, backdoor transactions and mishandled money started to surface. The worst part is about to come. Among those properties allegedly connected to a Virgin Islands registered business that was traced back to a person going by the name Melvin D.H. Can you tell me who that sounds like? One fictitious paper claims that Yandy could have unintentionally been identified as a silent partner in a multi-million-dollar development scam that was disclosed on TikTok. The document internet investigators went full CSI, despite the fact that it was watermarked and edited to dirt. There were threads on Twitter. County documents started to be thoroughly examined. TikTokers used typefaces, stamps, and even commas to compare three nut exposés side by side, validate their argument and the online consensus. Yandy didn't just go because he had cheated. She dashed to protect oneself from a legal quagmire. But hold on, we're not finished yet. Because the feds were watching, honey. Naturally, unverified reports claim that a covert government investigation had been in the works since Mendeecees' release from jail. Some actions increased flags. Mendy observes terms violations, according to a Pearl Board whistleblower who phoned into an anonymous late-night Instagram live while wearing a ski mask, of his release by using commercial methods that the court had not authorized, and he could be considering another offer if that proves to be the case. In the meanwhile, Yandy was seen in Midtown Manhattan conferring with attorneys. She remained 10 toes down despite the paparazzi's attempts to capture her sliding. No cosmetics, no grins, no captions, just pure power walk enthusiasm. The same stroll that ladies take when they know they're going to destroy everything and start again. Scrap. It becomes much more cinematic at this point. In an appearance on the fictitious program Tea and Trauma, Anne, according to an insider, Yandy was already negotiating the launch of her own documentaries. Unshackled, the real Yandy story is the working title. Give it time to marinate. Sis is reportedly cashing the check and flipping the script in addition to supposedly leaving Mendeecees. The word is she intends to reveal everything, including their early hardships. The story of the emotional roller coaster. Fans, however, are split. Some are giving her the side look, while others are saying, "Yes, queen, get your coin and your closure." Accused her of playing victim in order to enhance her brand and called it a marketing gimmick and all the children in the middle. Yes, we must not overlook the infants. According to insiders, talks about custody are already in progress. Behind closed doors, Yandy apparently asking for complete legal custody. To safeguard children from harmful influences and unsteady business transactions, Mendeecees is allegedly attempting to establish himself as the more involved father in the meanwhile. It's a mess. A full-fledged soap opera with government surveillance, throwaway emails, treachery, real estate fraud, and phony podcast apologies. Furthermore, we haven't even begun to the surface. Because some people think there will be one more twist as the rest of the world watches this show unfold. Some claim that Yandy isn't finished destroying relationships and that she may even bring love and hip-hop producers into the fray by accusing them of fabricating scenes, manipulating the plot, and causing emotional suffering for opinions. She's purportedly prepared to provide names, and we may be seeing the collapse of a whole VH1 empire if that occurs. The journey is far from done, so fasten your seatbelt. And this split may be the start of Yandy Smith's retaliation if she is set to really let loose, baby. Period. What we just saw wasn't a simple split, so please take a minute to relax. It was a complete dismantling of the myth of black love objectives that Mindy and Yandy Smith marketed to millions of people. I'm leaving this place. Ride or die. It was all in this tale. A lot of tears in Dior, betrayal, control, dubious power, plays, and covert phone trackers. But now it's your opportunity to weigh in. Do you feel Yandy was simply putting up with Mendeecees for the brand, for the illusion of fame? Or did she truly adore that man, only to ultimately understand that she loved him more than herself? Let's also discuss Mindy observes. Is he indeed the cunning one? People are now accusing him of being a selfish spouse. Is or was Yandy a long-term scammer? The entrepreneur who was always able to turn the camera in her direction? We provided you everything, the secrets, the tea, the receipts, and the facts that Bet does not want to be publicized out. We'd like to hear from you now. Leave your most outrageous hypotheses in the comments. Was it a reality show or true love? Delusion? If Yandy eventually receives Unconcerned with her own spin-off and Free, and do you believe Mindy notices? Either respond with a clap or remain quiet and fade into the history of hip-hop and love. Remember to hit the like button. As long as you're still shaken, click subscribe if turn on. You're here for the drama. Those alerts so you never miss. 8th is a rough reveal because, baby, this isn't hip-hop and love. This is karma and lies. Reality strikes back. Remain, stay dirty, be awake, and as always, keep drinking that tea.